Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Neuvillette. Neuvillette was a very patient man, and he was wont to have a lot of patience for human idiocy. So, to push him beyond the brink and beyond the point of where he could just stand there and do nothing, it was very challenging indeed. But this man had managed to accomplish that with seemingly no effort at all. You were walking, and Neuvillette was not really accompanying you at this time. He was rather busy, looking at the stores that were just opening and trying to check them out. It was his duty as the ruler of Fontaine, now that Rena has gone. But it felt rather distracting, trying to pay attention to you as you walked around, and whatever he was supposed to do. But still, his eyes caught the sight, especially since he was very observant, and he saw that pervert looking at you, and the way he eyed you was absolutely disgusting. It was horrid, and something he did not want to think about. But the comments he threw your way made Neuvillette very angry, and although it seemed like you were doing your best to ignore it, he was not having it. You were nice, far too kind, and he was not letting this happen, especially when it was something that could be avoided. So, of course, he was bound to do something and take action against what happened. So all of a sudden, when he had teleported between you and the man, you were startled. Nivy, what brought you here? I'm fine, there's no need to worry. You tell him, hoping things don't escalate. He doesn't seem like the person to pick a fight, but he will when it's necessary. And the way that he was glaring at the man in front of him, he seemed to be beyond angry. And you could only hear the words that he seized out, the anger rolling off him in waves. You come near her again, or say one more word, and I will make you wish that you had been dissolved, he says. And Neuvillette's eyes were really strange. You almost thought that he was going to dissolve him right there and then. But you were relieved that it didn't happen. You didn't want things to get out of hand. They were already getting out of hand as they could, so to avoid it now would be better. And as you wrapped your arms around him, kissing his cheek, "Thank you, Neuvillette. Now that's enough. Let's just go on with our walk," you tell him. And he seems rather reluctant to let him leave. But the man that was trying to flirt with you mere seconds ago now has learned his lesson, and will never try that again. It was not something easy to anger Neuvillette, but it was even more difficult to get him off your back if he was so focused on what you were doing. And that person was going to have to deal with a lot, especially with the bad reputation that they have built with Neuvillette. Wriothesley. Now, if Neuvillette was angry, then Wriothesley was absolutely raging. He was not known for his kindness, not really, and he was known for being very possessive of you. Ever since you got together as a couple, he loved you dearly, and he did not like the idea of others overstepping their space and their boundaries with you. So it was no wonder that he had a sort of a strong reaction when it came to something like this. After all, how dare they do this to you when he was still there and standing right next to you? Maybe they had thought that the two of you were not together, judging by the way that you were not holding hands, and most people didn't know that Wriothesley had a partner, especially outside of the fortress. But He doesn't mind. He will show them. But as for now, it was simply too shocking seeing what was happening right before his eyes, as if shame was non existent anymore. The guy was flirting with you and saying remarks that were too awful to hear, if Wriothesley were to be honest. And he was frozen for a moment, too. Then he realized that this really was happening. This person had no shame, no respect, and no manners. And Wriothesley gave him a smirk, walking over to him. "Oh, you're the Duke. I didn't notice you at all. I apologize for treating that miss like that," the guy says. And Wriothesley finds it very funny how he immediately backed off. But what's done is done. And he's not about to actually excuse him right now. Instead, he punched him, wearing his glove, to make the impact a little bit more powerful. He lets out a huff, seeing as he's knocked down to the ground. "Look, I'll let you off easy this time. But you try this again with anyone else, and I promise, even the fortress will not be a welcoming place for you," he says, before taking your hand and kissing your palm. "All right, my dear, we should continue on with our day. What did you want to buy?" he asks. And you're rather frozen for a couple of moments, trying to register what happened, before you give him a nervous smile, hoping that the man on the ground can recover, but you don't really care about him, to be honest. A part of you thinks he deserves it, but you don't want Wriothesley acting like that with others, especially since you're not in the fortress. Regardless of what you do, you just go with him, because you know what he's done. It's probably for the best. He knows how to deal with those types of people, since he encounters them most. And you go on to buy the dress that you wanted, all while Wriothesley is holding you. This time, making sure to show you off and hold you close, letting anyone know that whenever they're laying their eyes on you, they know that you're his and his alone.